what's going on, man? This is your boy Super Mario, man, and you are in the yo with your boy. And today we're going to be checking out a plugin from IK Multimedia. It is the TASCAM Porta One tape plugin or whatnot. Now this is a emulation of a TASCAM multi-track recorder, which is called the Porta Studio. Now the Porta Studios were used way back in the 80s and the 90s for as providing home studios and smaller studios with the ability to record on multi-tracks, you know what I'm saying? So you can take a microphone, a couple of guitars, and then a single mic, and you know what I'm saying, record those to a 4-track multi-recorder, such as the Porta Studio from TASCAM. Now these particular Porta Studios had a very signature sound, and you have to say, man, TASCAM has been really around for a very long time when it comes to recording and the multi-track scene or whatnot. And if you ask me, you know what I'm saying, they're one of the pioneers when it comes to multi-track recording, but we're really, you know, put the footprint with TASCAM is the sound they can produce. And I have to say, man, I have a digital recorder from TASCAM, and just something in their engineering that I like about that or whatnot. Now there's a ton of cassette, you know what I'm saying, cassette sounding type of emulated plugins out there, but this one right here from IK Multimedia and emulating a Porta Studio type sound, it sits really well in my preference or whatnot. Now the Porta One plugin, it gives you 2 different type of tape flavors, such as a small reel tape and also a cassette tape, and you can flip-flop in between those. But what we're gonna do is utilize this plugin on a sample that I have in a beat inside of Ableton Live. And we're going to see how the sample really kind of measures up, you know what I'm saying, just kind of enhancing the sample and really making it fit in the beat. So it can sound, you know what I'm saying, like what we're trying to achieve for the production and everything like that, man. So why don't you go ahead and join me in the Ableton Live, and let's check out the Porta One plugin and see what it could do with the sample, with the beat, and Ableton Live, man. So let's go ahead and transition into Ableton Live and check out the IK Multimedia Porta One plugin, man. Let's go. All right, here we are in Ableton Live, man. We have the TASCAM Porta One plugin pulled up on our beat, and if you can hear that in the background, that's what we'll be trying to, you know what I'm saying, massage that particular sample to give it a little bit of tape flavor with the production or whatnot. Now, as you can see on the plugin GUI, it definitely is giving Porta Studio vibes from TASCAM or whatnot. And I guess this was approved by TASCAM because you can see their name right there at the top right corner of the plugin, right above the tape, man. So the sound must be approved and by TASCAM to say, hey, you can go ahead and license our name on your product. So that is very good to see, have confidence in the plugin and what it can do. Now, just to give you a little overview of the plugin, man, it's very straightforward. I mean, you have your input signal fader here and your output signal fader right here, and this little section right here, and let me go ahead and pull up my little toolbar here so we can make some annotations here. All right, so this section right here is what they call the recording knobs, should I say. Now this is going to give you that flavor of the Porta Studio for us, the channel strip, so to speak, a little bit of whatnot, and everything like that. Now what I circled is basically the bias. Now this particular knob right here is going to basically add some total harmonic distortion, so to speak, that's running through the Porta Studio emulation or whatnot. Okay, and then we have here is the level, you know what I'm saying. So the level is basically, you know, kind of doing some gain staging right there. And last but not least, you can kind of roll off the high end or enhance the high end of that particular signal to give it that flavor. And the reason why they give you this and not the low end, because you're actually running that signal through the given tape that you have right here. So whether it's the real tape or, you know what I'm saying, let me get back to my mouse there, whether it's the real tape or it's the cassette tape, this right here is going to give you, you know, saying the high end that is missing or tapered off from the tape emulation. And most tape that you utilize is going to always have a low frequency bump. Just to give you guys an idea of what tape does, it's always going to give you that a little bit of low frequency bump. So that's why they didn't give you a low frequency EQ knob to color the sound or whatnot, you know what I'm saying? But, and there's a but though, you know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and clear these markings. There's a but. Now, you do have a 2-band EQ that serves for the line level signal, all right? And what I mean by that is that you see this switch right here? Let's get our annotations again, y'all. All right, you see this switch right here? So if we was to switch this to input, now what we're gonna do is bypass the recording section. So now this will be obsolete. And the only thing you will have is the input signal for as gain stage in there, controlling the low frequency and the high frequency, bypassing the tape, bypassing this and you're going straight here, you know what I'm saying? So basically, you know what I'm saying, you're going to control the input, you can EQ it as far as the low and the highs, and you can adjust the output. That's it, you know what I'm saying? When this switch is, you know what I'm saying, basically put into input mode. Okay, so you have two different type of modes. Again, input mode is the input, the 2-band EQ, and the output. And then Repro is just basically utilizing all the functions that is on the plugin. That's simple, man. That's all you got to worry about or whatnot, man. So we'll try it in both different modes. So for starters, let's go ahead and try in input mode. We'll go ahead and make that switch there. Again, we're not going to be utilizing record, only input, EQ, and output. Now, the good thing about this is that everything is set at default, and there's a little bump on each knob at about 0.5 on the knobs or whatnot, just to give you a little hint of what the actual emulation is doing. You know what I'm saying? Just give you a little hint of whatnot. Okay, so we put this in input mode. So again, we're gonna bypass record and all the other functions. So you only got the input level, the 2-band EQ, and the output level. And you can definitely hear that once you run that through. You'll hear a very, very subtle difference or whatnot. Now, we do have the plug-in powered off. So you can see it right here, the top right corner. If you was to press this button, it'll power the plug-in or take it out of bypass mode. And you can reset everything in here by hitting this button right there. And of course, you have some presets, but presets is for suckers. You feel me? All right, cool deal, man. So let's go ahead and turn the beat up, man, and solo the sample. And let's hear some A/B comparisons. All right, we're gonna go ahead and solo that sample. So that is the sample, no plug-in on. Let's go ahead and engage the plug-in. And instantly you can hear some very good weight, some very good enhancements to the particular sample. And we're running that through input mode. So again, we're running the signal through the input, 2-band EQ, and output right here. All right, so let's go ahead and see what we need to enhance. Bring out some of those hi-hats. Let's bring it back in the mix. Let's bring down some of that low frequency. I like that, man. So with the input, I mean, just really using the 2-band EQ is really giving you some flavor. Let's go ahead and bypass that. Very tough. All right, let's bring it back in one more time. 7, 8. It actually kind of gelled that in it pretty good. All right, you'll notice that you have some VU meters up here at the top. All right, so these VU meters can really kind of get you to push the signal into the plug-in to really get some of that emulated Porta Studio channel mojo from the Porta Studios from TASCAM or whatnot. Now we could push the input up a little bit more until we have the needle touching -3 on the VU meter, Or what we could do is put this in repro mode, and now we can utilize the record function. So again, bias is going to add a little bit of distortion, just a little hint of distortion, whether it's, negative or a positive flavor of distortion, so to speak, man. I really don't want to get into what the bias does or whatnot. You can read your manual for that. And of course, we can gain stage that and then add or subtract EQ or additive and subtractive EQ only on the high end right here on that button. So we're going to keep our EQ where we at because I like what we got. So these three knobs is really going to add the flavor, and we cannot forget about the different tape styles that we have. So right now I'm gonna go ahead and keep it on cassette, and then we'll switch it over to the tape reel just to see what happens. All right, so let's go ahead and drop some bias in there. Hear the signal start breaking up right at about 3 o'clock. So once we turn that knob at about 3 o'clock, you can really start seeing that or hearing that signal break up. You know what I'm saying? Almost like it's certain frequencies is really trying to dropping that signal out. All right, but let's bring it back to the default 12 o'clock position. It's the kick drum. So every time the kick drum hits in, it's almost like it's some form of compression. It's ducking that kick signal down, and that's very common when it comes to saturation and distortion when you overdriving it or whatnot. All right, let's go the other way. Let's go counterclockwise to see what happens. Wow, it took away some of that high end, or should I say the top end of the sample, and it actually enhanced the low end. Pretty cool. I like it right there about 0.7. Now you can notice that our needle is barely going past -10. So let's utilize the level meter here to drive it right at around about -3, right there, dead center on the B meter. Right there should be good. Now, when we're driving the level up or whatnot, you also have to remember that our output fader right here, we could be introducing some clipping, or we may be a little bit too loud. So we kind of got to play gain staging here. So let's go ahead and turn on our output fader a little bit. All right, so we kind of got like the relative volume and the before and after volume right up there around the same. You're gonna notice some difference. Why? It's because it's missing some low end. You got to remember that when we had it in the input mode, we took away some of the low end on the 2-band EQ. So all we're doing is injecting some of that tape flavor into the signal or whatnot. And last but not least, we can kind of add in some high frequency EQ if we need to. So let's just kind of play around with that and see what it does. Then bring out some of those keys in the sample. Let's go ahead and solo the instrument and see what happens. I like what it's doing with the hi-hats. All right, that's pretty cool right there. Now, if we want, we could kind of take down a little bit more of that low end if need be. Let's bring it back in the mix. Cool. I like where we at right now. So the only other thing we have to do is we can kind of add in some true stereo, effect in there. So what it's going to do is just basically take what we're affecting, instead of having it mono sum, will be the affected process of this plugin will be basically independent on the left and the right channel coming out of the plugin or whatnot. And then your transport modeling is, of course, some of that emulation flavor of the mechanics when it comes to the transport, like far as like when you hit stop and play, and that type of stuff. But it ain't nothing but an effect, man, for us, the mechanics of the Porta Studio from TASCAM or whatnot. So let's go ahead and engage the true stereo effect and see what happens here. Very subtle difference in the stereo width. And I like it engaged. All right, let's go ahead and solo that and let's do it again. Turn it off. Turn it on. So you can hear very, very subtle stereo width. And that's, again, the process is now independent on the left and the right signal. So basically it's processing here. And when you hit that true stereo, the processing is kind of like independent on the left and independent on the right, will give you the perception of a wider stereo signal or whatnot. That's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and engage the transport modeling and see what that does. It's almost like it's making the signal a little bit dirty, kind of like, you can hear some of that tape really grinding on the mechanics and everything like that. It's not really a big effect. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep that off or whatnot. But if you were here listening on headphones with me, you probably can't hear it through the YouTube audio, but definitely there's some very minute things. And if you know anything about those cassette tapes and you know how gritty and grindy they could get when it's passing through the mechanics, that tape, when I'm talking about passing through the mechanics, that's what basically it is affecting and reproducing that particular effect from the Porta Studio recorder and stuff like that. That's a cool deal, man. So we kind of got our sound the way we want it. The only other thing we can do is just basically, switch tape. Now, I didn't talk about the auto calibration and everything like that. I really don't need to mess with it. I mean, I like it where it's at, so I'm not going to really too much harp on that. I'm going to harp on the tape formula, which is another form of tape, which is the small reel tape right here. So let's hit play again in the mix. All right, let's go ahead and switch the tape. Let's go back to cassette. Very, very minute, but it's a difference in stuff like that. I felt like the cassette had a little bit more low frequency bump, on the signals. Let's go ahead and solo that and switch back and forth. That cassette has more of a darker tone to it. And of course, with anything that has real tape, it's definitely going to give it a brighter sound. And actually, with it soloed, I can hear more of a low frequency bump on the tape reel versus the cassette. That's crazy. So I think I'm going to aim for the cassette flavor, and the reason why is the track is already bright, with the percussion instruments and some of the other instruments that I have in the mix, just keeping it on the real tape, just going to make that sample a little bit top heavy in the mix or whatnot. So the cassette is actually, in my opinion, fitting in real good. Let's go ahead and play that again, and we'll do some overall bypassing on the plugin. All right, we're gonna bypass the plug-in, 7 and 8. So what we can do is turn up the output fader to match the gain. I think we got us one. Let's check this out. Ooh, man, hold up. Now let's go ahead and bypass the plug-in on this one. It just really don't give you that liveliness like the plug-in will give you. Let's bring it back in. 7, 8, and something about that sound is really get your head bumping a little harder. Bring down that low frequency on the 2-band a little bit. Go back to the... Yeah, I like that, man. I like that. That's pretty cool, man. Now you can see on our VU meters, we're right at about -5. So we're giving ourselves some headroom with the plug-in and whatnot. And if I was to drag this down, you can still see that, you know what I'm saying? We got a lot of headroom right here on the channel faders or whatnot, and you still get a big sound. So this plugin is really, really, really cool, man. It definitely gives you some of that tape vibe, that nostalgia vibe that you can get. Because when you bypass this, I mean, it's really gonna sound very, very sterile. So let me shut up. I got the volume down at a listening level, and just hear the difference when I bypass the plugin. It's almost like it takes the sample and it pushes it forward, but still gives it that, you know, it just gives it that sound, you know what I'm saying? A little bit of bump on the high end, but not too brittle, you know what I'm saying? Enough weight on the low end, but not overbearing. It just does the trick, man. And once you can get the, you know what I'm saying, the inputs and the output faders correct with your gain staging, you should be golden and stuff like that, man. So yeah, there it is right there. The IK Multimedia T-Rex Porta One plugin. You can definitely get this from IK Multimedia website for as their plugins is concerned, or their max bundle that they have right here. I got this particular plugin for free when I purchased the TASCAM Model 12. You know what I'm saying? There was an update for firmware update on the Model 12 mixer, and this was one of the offerings that they did, and I was like, yo, this is really, really good, man, because I love the Porta Studio sound from Tascam or whatnot. So I utilize it on most of my old school samples type beats, if it fits the mood or the era of that particular production and everything like that, man. But one thing I would have to say, that this plugin really taxes your CPU, man. It adds anywhere in between 10 to 15% of processing on your CPU on my machine. Now your machine may be a little different because you have a newer machine, or it's a little bit more powerful than mine, but I'm running a $2,500 gaming computer with the AMD Ryzen I think it's the 5900 series processor, 32 gig of RAM, you know what I'm saying, 8-core processor. So I mean, it's processing, you know what I'm saying, 10% to 15% of CPU usage in Ableton Live and stuff like that. So if you do utilize this plugin, you can't throw it on each track, you know what I'm saying? So you have to be very mindful of if you're going to use this on a sub mix, the master track, or one special track far as like, you know what I'm saying, if you have multiple samples, bust those down in the group or bust tracks and utilize it on one track. Or in my case, I just got one sample, so I have it on that one track and that's it. You know what I'm saying? Freeze it, you know what I'm saying, and utilize it on something else. So be mindful that this plugin is very, very CPU extensive and whatnot, man. So be cautious of that. Other than that, it's a very, very good plugin. You heard the sound of it. So make sure you go ahead and check it out, man. TRACS Porta One plugin emulating a TASCAM Porta Studio 4-track multi-track recorder. Excuse me. Mouth is a little dry right there, man. Stuff like that, man. So yeah, man, yeah, this thing is jamming. Make sure you go check it out, man. This has been your boy Super Mario, man. If you like this video, go ahead and hit a like and subscribe to the channel if you like the content, man. Until next time, man, you stay creative, man, and check out the TRACS Porta One plugin emulating a TASCAM 4-track Porta Studio multi-track recorder, man. We out of here, man. Peace.